Hi everyone, it's me, Jordan Long here, and today I tell you how I met Lady Mary Perkins, who, lives by her own oversights and doesn't do what many folks think that folks in high followership would say or do. You know, she likes to call herself, the Wonder Down Under. That's what she calls herself. And here's going to be a long list of things that she owns. Well, she's a business owner, since she is the half owner of Melbourne Modeling Business, or whatever the English word, shitting business, has stock in TKO Team Holdings, you know, is a sitter, you know, has a rank of lady, and all that good shit, you know. Also owns a ship, but is grounded. So yeah, and she's going to be grounded where she drinks, Hill Lightning, which is Walmart's answer to Pepsi's Hill Dew. And it goes something like this. Oh, so, Jordan, how you like my setup? Oh, I like it a lot. Oh, that's good to know. So, tell me, how do you keep grounded, Mary? Oh, because I never forget where I came from. It's kind of hard to forget when I came from being a scared girl in Melbourne, and had a father who was mean by words, which in its own right is bad, and my mother who drank and hit me a lot. Me and my younger sister Ashley made it where Ashley couldn't handle it and went to live in New Zealand, with an S instead of a Z. Yes. And you never do forget that kind of thing, even though it is forgivable. Oh yeah, it's forgivable but not forgettable, Forgivable but not forgettable. Yep. And a lot of folks like to scathe me for my life way. But the way I look at it is, if I'm not doing anything that's harming anyone, then, oh right, then there you go. Well, isn't it true you do one night stands? Yeah, I've been doing them since I was 8 between years old, and still do it to this day. Yeah, well, I did too. And a lot of folks shame me like that. Hey, well, folks are going to shame you and guilt you for a lot of things. So is it true that you own stock in TKO Team Holdings? Yep, I do. Which means I have a half owner of WWE, UFC, and the Skill Bold Riders. Oh, that's good. So how did you come up with your nickname, The Wonder Down Under? Because everybody calls Southern Land Down Under. And I got that from one of my sitting works that I did a long time ago. Well, isn't it true that you also are a half owner of Melbourne Sitting in Business? Yes, that's true too. Yep. Well, and here you not know this, Jordan, maybe you do, but your god brother Ernest P. Worrell, when he was an outside caste chosen learner in Southern Land, and everybody shamed him for speaking 4-1 Reichs English, and I said I'd be his friend, and, we've been friends, ever since then. Well, that's good to know. Yes, it is. You can think of me as the true life Phryne Fisher, only I'm not a withdrawal underbreaker. But hell, I would put her to shame when it came to her one-night stands, because as we know, only those handfuls have happened in the first following and the 2 whiff, and by the 3 whiff it was completely cleaned up. Yeah, because Miss Fisher's slaying unknowns got picked up by PBS, and PBS said, you gotta skim. So they had to show it in ways that, was still underneath the oversights. Yeah, don't get me started with, don't get me started with PBS. I don't even think, they can afford anything on their own without help. Yeah, that's true. But anyway, we don't gotta worry about that shit. You wanna take, oh, and by the way, you can have, you wanna have, hey, hail lightning? Hail lightning, yes, I do. Which I think is Walmart's answer to Pepsi's Hail Do. Yeah. And you might think to yourself and go, oh, well, I inherited all this gold from my Uncle Edward and my Aunt Marie on my, on my mother's side. So you would think that that would mean that I would just throw it around. But Jordan, as we all know, gold doesn't grow on trees. And you always have to watch how much gold you have and what you buy it and what you yield for it and all that shit. Because a lot of folks think the unwealthy are the only ones that have to worry about what they're yielding their gold on and for. But the wealthy do too. Yes, that is true. Hey, and if you want, I can always give you one of my sitting likenesses. Yeah. But is glamour a French byword? Yeah, it is. So what is the English word? Shit, I don't know. I guess we'll call them cute shots. Beautiful shots. I don't know. Well, don't ask me, because your guess good in mine that book. So yeah, that's me when I met with Lady Mary Perkins, which is what happens when you take Ace Ventura and Franny Fisher and Jack Stiles and you put all those three together. Well, mostly when you take Franny Fisher and Ace Ventura and put them together. That's what you get when you take folks that got those kind of tropes, and that's what happens when you put them together. You get the high wit, you get the high wit from Franny Fisher, you get the funny sense of humor from Ace Ventura, and boom, there you go, that's her. But then I start to think of it, both of those cells had the same tropes, so there's not much of a unlikeness between the two. Alright, I'll see you all later.